Hello everyone and welcome. In the previous part, we completed with the navbar, a landing page, and a footer containing icons to our social media handles. So now we're gonna move forward and create rest of the things. First of all, let me just start the server with npm start, and till the server is starting, let me just create another page which will be menu.js and hit enter. And now we'll use a cool trick to import the snippets of our boilerplate code, that is the RFCE. Here we have the boilerplate code. Now we're gonna create some divs. The first one will be menu, the second one would be menu title, and the third one would be menu list. Okay, there we'll write menu just for the testing purpose and we'll hit save. Okay, and then we'll go to the app.js file, and here we'll create another path for another route basically for the menu page. So its path will be menu and exact component will be menu. Okay, so by doing this it's auto imported, but it's imported the wrong one. You see, this is from material UI and we don't want this. Okay, from the wrong path. We'll just write menu from pages slash menu. That's it, and we'll hit save, and it's compiling. Okay, and when we go to the menu again, and now let me take you to the browser and let me just show you how that looks. This, yeah, let me just go to the menu. It's not working right now because we have not configured the navbar, but let me just take you from the URL. Okay, you can see menu is rendered here. That means a component is being rendered. Now next we will do it how and what to display, but it's being rendered. That is the good part here. We'll configure it from here also, don't worry, from the navbar, but right now most important thing is that it's been rendered. So let's just go back to VS Code, and now I will create another component or another folder which will be containing the data which we want to display, like data means the image of the dish, the name of the dish, the price of the dish, everything of them. So for that we need to create another folder. You can create it or you can place the file anywhere, but I will create it in the source only. So that will be data, and under the data I will create data.js, and here we will write export const, and that will be data is equal to an array of what? An array of objects. So here we'll have key value pairs which will be containing the name, image and everything of the dish. So here we'll give name and colon, and head will be the name like first dish, then we'll give a comma, then image, so this is an image, and the third thing will be the price, and price don't need the quotations, right? It's a numeric value, so we can write it like anytime you anything you want. So it's just a number, right? So you can write it like this and just save it. Okay, so this is an array of objects, and in the objects there are key value pairs. Okay, so you can just go back to menu, and basically this data won't work actually, because we have taken this dummy data. So the actual data I've already created, like I've searched for some dishes and along with the photos, title, and the price. So let me just uh, paste that data here. Let me just paste that data so that you can have a clear look of everything. And so this is all the data. So this is all the food which we are going to sell on our website. So these are all the importations of the image. We have all imported the image, and this is just name, image, and everything else. So we'll just save it, and now we go back to our menu.js. So now what we are going to do is we are going to import the data, like import data from maybe we can go to data, then slash data. We call it data only. Okay, now what we are going to do is use the map function. Now if you are new to React, and if you don't know about the map function, I would highly recommend you to go and learn the map function from JavaScript. It is really important. If you don't know the map function, you need to learn it. It's really important. So let's just start with the map function. So we've already imported data, so now we'll use map function. So map function is JavaScript. So to use JavaScript inside the return statement, you need to use curly braces. So inside the curly braces only you can use the JavaScript. So we'll use the name of the component, that is data dot map, and this is a function, and inside this we will be creating another function. So this will be a fat arrow function, and the syntax to fat arrow function is something like that, a parenthesis and then equal to and then this sign and a curly braces, and inside this is the return statement. So if you write return, it's okay, and if you don't even write return, you can just write whatever you need to return here, like whatever the function that you need to return over here. So here we will provide two things, that is it expects two arguments basically, first variable and second is the ID or the key. So here we'll provide menu item, maybe menu item slash key, I mean comma and then key. So here we will provide that what we want to return. So we'll provide a return statement, then we provide this, and inside of here we'll provide our div, actually closing tag for the div. Okay, and inside here we will be providing, for example, menu and item dot name, maybe, or price, whatever we want to display here. So this will also be under the curly braces like this, and then we just save this, and let's just see if there are any errors. Okay, there are any errors. So data does not contain an export. Okay, we forgot to export the data. Okay, and this is named as data, and then we save it. Okay, there's not a default export, so that is why we need to put this inside the curly braces. So this also you need to keep in mind, that whenever you are importing a constant or an array from another component, so you need to put that inside the curly braces. So that's a really important thing to keep in mind. So okay, there are some errors. Okay, we can't resolve the images, so that is just a normal thing, and do it. So the name was different here, it was assets, and we were writing assets. So I hope now we can render it, and we can go back to the menu here. Let me take you to the browser first, how it looks on the browser. Let me just refresh. You can see all the names of the dish we can see, and if we change it to price, maybe from name to price, and then we hit save, and then we go back to the browser, and we'll see the prices. You can see the prices are displayed here. So this is what we are going to do now. For this, we are using the map function because that is all about React. Like, I don't want to create separate divs and separate containers for every single dish. Like, if I want to create like one card, so I don't want to create a card for every single dish, and I create every single container, and every single, like, HTML div for every single other containers. So that is what we need to keep in mind. So that is why I'm going to create a standard container, like we used, like navbar and footer, and we are reusing it on every single page. So just exactly like it, we are going to create another container, which we will be naming as menu item. So that menu item will be inside the components folder. So let's just go to the components folder, and let us create another file that will be menu item.js. Let me just use a trick, which is rfce. Okay, and inside the menu item we'll be having two divs. The first one is for the menu item, and second is just a normal div, and we will be naming our div as menu item. So menu item, and we'll be having another div. Okay, so inside this div will be basically for the image. So we'll be using an image for our like display. So we'll provide style tag to this, that will be style, background image, and here we'll provide backticks, and we'll write URL, and then this, provide the dollar sign, and provide this. So here uh, we'll be passing props in this function. So the props will be image name and price. So that will be image name price, and then here it will be image. Okay, it will be image, and next we'll be having an h1 with name, and below this we'll be having an h1 with the name. So we are using JavaScript, so it will be inside the curly braces name. Next we'll be having a p tag. Inside this we'll be having the price. So price, and in front of this price we will be using the rupee symbol. So you need to search for the rupee symbol, and you need to just paste it in front of this. So we'll be using rupee symbol, and then we hit save. Okay, so now we are going to map through the data, and we are going to grab the data from the data.js, and every single data, like every single object, will be given one of this container, which will be saving its image, title, and price. So then every single container will be loading, and the data will be having its own card. So let me just show you what I'm talking. If you are a beginner and if you don't know React, this might seem a little weird to you, this might be a little hard to digest, but if you are a beginner or an intermediate level to React, you know what exactly I'm trying to say. So if you are new and you are having a little problem to digest, don't worry, this is little tricky. If you go through it through 2 or 3 times, you will be understanding what I'm trying to say. Now we go to the menu and we want to provide this container which we created, this menu item, to every single data, every single dish, what I'm trying to say. So first of all, I'll import it. So import menu item. No, no. From it's where it is, it's in the components menu item. Okay. And now in place of this div, we will be providing this container right here, this component, it is menu item. So we'll be using return, and we'll be wrapping this inside of this. Okay, what was wrong? And okay, so we will be passing those exactly same props, and that is the key, image, and price. So key will be key, and we'll be providing space, then we'll providing image. So that will be menu item dot image. Next we'll be having image, and then the name. So name will be menu item dot name. Next we'll be having price, so price will be menu item dot price, and then we'll save it. So it will look something like this, and I hope this works. And when we go to the browser, and it's compiling right now, so we have not yet created any styles and CSS file, so we'll do that in a minute. And then when we come to the browser, we see nothing, so there is something wrong. And when we refresh, so there is some error which we are not able to see. So let me just go back to the VS Code and see if there is something we are missing out. Okay, so this should be in curly braces. We forgot to put this in curly braces. So let me just save it. I've saved it, and everything's okay so far, so good. And then we go to the browser. Okay, so now we see the details, we see the picture, we see the title of the dish, we see the price of the dish. So these are the only 3 things which we want to see, and every dish have its own separate container. That's a very good thing. This looks a little weird because we have not yet imported the styles.css file. So for that we need to go to the styles.css file and we need to like import it. So for the styles, we'll go to the menu, and we'll go to the styles, and we'll create another file, that is the menu.css. So, and we'll paste the CSS here, and then we'll hit save. And this is the CSS. I will let you see from the beginning. This is the CSS which we are using. Okay. So let's go back and see. This is the CSS. I think you will not be seeing, so let me show you again. This is the CSS which we are using. Okay, so let us just import this inside the menu. Let me write the import statement, that is inside the styles, that is the .css. Let me just hit save. Okay, so when we go to the browser, it shows like this. I don't know why it's getting messed up. So let me just take a look at the CSS. There is something wrong with the CSS. Or okay, when we go to the menu item, okay, this image tag is covering it all. So we need to move it from here. We need to paste it here. This should close right by here because this div is just for this image. You don't need to wrap anything around it. So when we go back, you can see now it's good, and you can see our menu, and this is the menu. So now we have created the menu. So next we'll be moving on to creating the other components. So that's it for this video, and in the next part we'll be creating the about section and the contact section, and we'll be also adding the links to the navbar to all the pages which we have created. So thank you, see you in the next part.